Magic Radio conjures up offer to make Meghan a disc jockey. Now, Meghan says, she's asked what do you miss about Britain, and she says magic. And it's in her new Netflix series With Love Meghan that she says it. And so Magic say, well, that's not a problem. We can make you a DJ. What about that, Yasmin?
Why not?
Yeah. Well, are you interested in Meghan's doings?
I think she's living her own life, making her own money. I don't know why everybody's obsessing about her and trying to bring her down. Why not? She's a talented woman. If it works, it works. It may not. That's okay. It doesn't cost us anything.
I was on watching Netflix last night. I sat down, had a salad to eat, put on the TV. I think I goes to Netflix, but it's accident. I hit Channel 5, but it went to Netflix. And I then basically, I've got options, and the first thing that comes up is With Love Meghan. And my thumb literally vibrated. I've hovered over the button, and then I went to true crime, so I watched Murder instead.
You made a choice.
I couldn't do it. What about you? Have you seen it?
I haven't got Netflix.
But it's doing very well.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's got
Have you
lots
bought
of...
our jam?
Americans love it.
What?
Have you bought her
I
jam?
haven't brought Meghan's jam.
Well, yeah, this obsession with Meghan and hating, it's not just obsession with them, making us want to hate them. It's a madness in this case. It's a complete insanity.
I don't understand it.
No, I don't understand
I'm with you. I think she's a perfectly inoffensive person, but when we talk about her, people go nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. More after the break. Alexis will join us. We'll reveal the count.
Oh, for goodness sake, let's rip the Band-Aid off this festering wound that is the British media's endless, bile-soaked vendetta against Meghan. It's not just exhausting, it's a goddamn national embarrassment. A circus where so-called journalists treat seismic stories like royal racism and institutional rot as nothing more than juicy gossip fodder for afternoon tea. Jeremy Vine, that smug king of the Channel 5 hot take throne, embodies it all in that infuriating clip smirking through his fake balanced facade, while his panel, led by the ever-sharp Auntie Yasmin, calls out the hypocrisy. He nods along like he's not the wrangle-master of this hate parade, the one who invites callers to spew venom about Meghan's every breath, then acts shocked when the backlash bites. It's peak Vine, stirring the pot of misinformation, letting opinions masquerade as gospel and pretending it's all just harmless chit-chat. But we know better. This isn't entertainment, it's engineered outrage, a daily dose of poison that's radicalized a chunk of the nation into frothing at the mouth over a mixed-race woman who dared to fall head over heels for a white prince and expect a fair shake. Take that Magic FM offer. Pure gold, right? Meghan drops this gem in her Netflix confessional about craving the soothing hum of her grandma station back in the UK, those mellow tunes that wrap around you like a cashmere blanket on a rainy afternoon. And bam, Paul Sylvester, the station's content director, doesn't miss a beat. On September 23rd at some industry shindig, he slaps the invite right on the table. The offer is on the table. If the Duchess wants to host a show, she's very welcome. It's the kind of organic, feel-good moment that screams potential. Imagine Meghan curating playlists laced with soul-stirring R&B, those empowering diva anthems that make you want to conquer the world, or even holiday specials where she weaves in heartfelt stories from her Montecito kitchen. Fans are already buzzing about it, pulling in listeners from every corner of the globe, thanks to apps and podcasts turning radio into a borderless party. Hell, even the skeptics, those grudging holdouts, admit it could spike ratings like nobody's business, drawing in the curious and the converted alike. But oh no, not everyone's popping champagne over this. The usual suspects are out in force, twisting it into yet another conspiracy fever dream. Who's footing the bill for this royal grift? They whine, as if Meghan's charm isn't payment enough. It's the same tired script. Elevate her ambitions to some sinister plot, because God forbid a black woman gets to spin records without it being a threat to the empire. And Vine? He'd probably dedicate a whole segment to it, trotting out experts to dissect why this is just another ploy for relevance, all while ignoring how his own show thrives on the very clicks her name generates. It's insidious, this reflex to poison every win. British media doesn't just report, it weaponizes. They turn a simple job offer, a chance for Meghan to dip back into UK airwaves on her terms, into tabloid tinder, fanning flames of resentment that burn hotter with every recycled headline. And let's not kid ourselves, this radio ripple is just the latest chapter in a saga where the press has spent years treating hard news as a punchline. Remember how they handled her pregnancy announcements? Not with joy or even neutral facts, but with snide asides about her baby bump being a publicity stunt, laced with dog whistle digs at her body, her heritage, her everything. Fast forward to today, and it's the same playbook. Her Netflix deal. Renewed, mind you, despite the naysayers howling that it's a flop before it even airs. With Love, Meghan hit screens back in March, a breezy lifestyle series where she dishes out recipes that scream comfort. Think slow-simmered stews that take hours because, as she says, I like recipes that take like 4 hours, alongside wellness nuggets and that unfiltered warmth she can't fake if she tried. Ted Sarandos, Netflix's big boss, hyped it as the authentic gold they crave, the kind of content that hooks you with realness in a sea of scripted slop. Sure, reviews were a mixed bag. Some critics called it sterile or baffling, nitpicking the timeline jumps or dubbing it an ego trip because what? A woman sharing her world is suddenly narcissistic? But others nailed it cozy escapism for 2025, the perfect antidote to doom scrolling, with audiences tuning in for the finale's heartfelt punch that proves it's got legs. Season 2 dropped in August and guess what? Same shit, different day. The Guardian snarked it as painfully contrived, like they're allergic to anything that doesn't reek of stiff upper lip misery. Variety piled on, calling it a Montecito ego trip, as if hosting friends for a chat and a meal is some heinous crime against good taste. And Forbes, they straight up torched it as tone-deaf because apparently Meghan's joy is only palatable if it's diluted with self-flagellation. But peel back the snark and you see the pattern. These reviews aren't critiques, they're vendettas dressed as analysis. British outlets in particular can't resist framing her every frame as a failure, even as Netflix ratings show it hovering in the mix. Not blockbuster territory, sure, but steady enough to greenlight more. It's not about the show, it's about her. They spread the misinformation that it's bombing harder than it is, refusing to correct the record when numbers say otherwise, because why let facts ruin a good hate fest? This is the rot at the core of British media. They don't inform, they indoctrinate. Spreading misinformation isn't a bug, it's the feature. Take the endless loop on her irrelevance, trot it out like it's etched in stone, even as her projects rack up global eyeballs. They spew opinions as fact, letting panelists like those on Vine's Circus declare her not a hit based on zero evidence, just vibes and vendettas. And the radicalization? Christ, it's textbook. They've spent nearly a decade turning a nation, once so proud of its tolerance, into a mob baying for blood over a woman whose only sin was loving Harry, and expecting the palace to act like adults. It's racism wrapped in misogyny, served with a side of class warfare. A mixed-race American actress waltzes in, marries the spare, and suddenly every headline drips with subtext. Straight out of Compton, they sneered early on, dredging her dad's side for dirt while ignoring her mum's strength. Archie? Born into whispers about his skin tone before he even cried his first cry. The Oprah interview laid it bare. Overt bigotry from the top down. And what did the press do? Doubling down, accusing her of playing the race card instead of owning their complicity. Vine and his ilk are the foot soldiers in this war. His show, a daily ritual of faux debate where callers rant unchecked. I don't give a damn about her, one spat recently, and Vine just let it slide. No pushback, no correction. It's entertainment disguised as discourse, hard news boiled down to sound bites that prioritize shock over substance. When Auntie Yasmin clocks him, pointing out how these segments encourage the hate calls and the lies, he squirms, but doesn't stop. Why? Because it works. It keeps the ratings afloat in a dying medium, radicalizing viewers who lap up the narrative that Meghan's the villainess destroying the monarchy. Never mind the real rot, the Windsor's scandals, the leaks from William's camp smearing Harry and her at every turn. No, that's glossed over or spun as family drama. It's baked in so deep it's invisible to them. Every critique of her With Love series fixates on her polish, her privilege, as if Kate's cookie-baking segments were ever dissected with such glee. It's the double standard on steroids. White royals get a pass for blandness. Meghan gets eviscerated for breathing. They've radicalized an entire demographic, those Daily Mail diehards, the Vine loyalists, into seeing her as the outsider threat, the uppity black woman who doesn't know her place. It's not subtle. It's a cultural Molotov cocktail, lobbed daily to keep the empire's ghosts alive. Remember Clarkson? That festering toad wishing she was paraded naked through the streets. Investigated, sure, but the damage? Eternal. Or the tabloid's obsession with her failures, from Suits reruns topping charts, ironically outpacing her own show, to every perceived misstep inflated into catastrophe. Yet here she is, untouchable, building an empire brick by unapologetic brick. Netflix renewals, radio invites that feel like homecomings, Invictus nods that remind us why Harry fell and why the world roots for them. The haters can seethe all they want. Their noise just amplifies her signal. British media might keep churning this crap, treating truth like a disposable prop in their reality TV monarchy. But Meghan, she's the plot twist they never saw coming, resilient, radiant, and rising above the muck. If she grabs that magic FM mic, it'll be another middle finger to the machine. Her voice, her vibes, her victory lap. And Vine? He'll probably dedicate an hour to why it's controversial because that's all he's got left. Controversy without courage. So spill it, what's the first track you'd beg her to drop on that debut set? Something fierce like Beyoncé's Formation to set the tone.